Galveston Island State Park is one of the most underrated birding hotspots on the Texas coast, especially when you consider its neighbors, High Island, Bolivar Flats, Anahuac, Brazoria. It's easily overlooked, but in its tiny stretch of just over 3 square miles, you get beaches, bays, dunes, grasslands, marshes, all sorts of stuff, which means the birding there can be absolutely wild. If you've never been, this park is split between the Gulf side and the Bay side, 2 totally different ecosystems separated by a single road. That means one morning you can photograph plovers on the beach and then drive 5 minutes and watch terns on the bay. It's also one of the few places on the island where development hasn't totally swallowed the shoreline. No hotels behind you, no restaurants humming in the background, no gas stations stinking up the place. Just you and all that nature has to offer. We just spent a weekend camping here as a family, and despite Houston traffic, rough weather, and broken tent poles, I ended up with 6 lifers and some incredible moments, and a reminder why this park is such a gem. What's going on, birders? I'm Zach, and welcome to Slow Birding. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through my birding highlights of the trip with a quick touch on the budget and what it actually cost, because I want you to know that this kind of adventure is totally accessible. Houston traffic is notoriously brutal, and this drive was no exception. So we arrived at Galveston Island as the sun was setting and fog started settling in. We set up camp haphazardly, getting things staged and tied down while dressing the kids for bed. Getting out of the car and straight into bed didn't go well for any of us. But what I'm learning about camping with kids is that you earn the good moments. The next morning, we awoke to the sound of the dawn chorus. Some dummy didn't set up the tent properly. It's me. I'm dummy. So the condensation pooled in certain spots and leaked throughout the night. The good news is that we could hear killdeer calling from the beach, black-bellied whistling doves zipping overhead, and a grackle starting to descend on the campgrounds in search of breakfast. As soon as I stepped out of the tent, I was greeted by an unfamiliar song. Through the fog, I noticed the contrast between like a golden chest and a distinctive black V. This was lifer number 1, the Eastern Meadowlark.
You took a picture too? Nice, Rami.
After having our morning coffee, we made our way to the beach so the kids could play in the sand. We were all overstimulated by the grime and noise and mosquitoes, but shout out to Ruby because she managed the kids with grace. Golden hour never really made its way through the dense clouds, so my chance at banger photos was stunted. But what I keep telling myself is that the beauty of birding is that I can sit there and simply appreciate seeing the birds. During this roughly 30 minutes of play, we spotted 2 different types of plovers, black-bellied and piping. These guys are so small and cute in their current plumage, but really hard to differentiate. The tell here is the difference between the leg color. Black-bellied have dark gray, sort of black legs, while the piping plover has yellow ones. Something similar about these birds? Both were lifers, numbers 2 and 3 for the trip. Then the gulls rolled in. The most common ones we've seen in Galveston before have been ring-billed gulls and laughing gulls, and that was the same for this trip. I got this nice pic of a ring-billed gull in flight that I'm pretty stoked about. I don't do a ton of bird and flight photography, but even a blind chicken finds a seed every now and then. The other species we observed included sanderlings, which I love, willet, and the common tern, which was lifer number 4. Editor Zach here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is the moment where I ask you to subscribe to the channel. I'm still climbing my way towards my first 100 subscribers, and so it would mean a ton to me if you help me achieve that goal by subscribing and then sharing this video with your birdiest friend. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to the video. Once beach time was over, we set out to the observation towers on the bay side of the park. The bay side of Galveston Island State Park is a totally different world. Shallow water, oyster beds, and tall grass. The first tower is easily accessible from the parking lot, but didn't bring many birds into close view. At a distance, we saw great blue herons, great egrets, another Eastern Meadowlark, and a mockingbird and Savannah sparrow here and there. Continuing down the trail, our hike was cut short by the bridge being closed for repair. Fortunately, from the remaining half that was still there, we caught some great views of these Forster's terns foraging for food. There were 3 of them out there and only 4 of us on the bridge, and so it kind of like they're putting on a show just for us. This is where I took my favorite photo of the trip. Quick ID tip. Common terns have black on the ends of their upper wings, while Forster's terns have clean gray upper wings. We escaped the high sun with a quick visit to the nature center, and then it was time for lunch and a nap for my son. My daughter and I took advantage of nap time and headed back out to observation tower number 2. Since the bridge was out, this meant that our shortest walk, and shortest is super relative here, was from a different parking lot and much further. And I didn't want her to walk on the road, and her not wanting to walk in the mud meant that she spent a significant portion sitting on my shoulders. Hauling 15 pounds of camera bag and 40 pounds of toddler meant that I was cooked by the time we made it to the tower, which was a bummer considering how few species we actually saw there. At a distance, again, we spotted more gray blue herons, an osprey, and a few brown pelicans. Closest to the tower was a gray egret, and at one point I was looking at this thing like, I could have seen this at home. But hey, it was good daddy-daughter time, something I'll always treasure. Fortunately, we found another lifer on our walk back, the white-tailed kite. Being both exhausted and ethical meant that we stayed on the trail and didn't get much in the way of views of it, but it's on camera. Lifer number 5. The rest of the evening was spent hanging out, having dinner, showering. Side note, if you're gonna bring Hershey's, store it inside your cooler and not inside the bag with your regular food. I ended up having to just drizzle chocolate onto our s'mores, which made them unnecessarily messy. That night, the wind absolutely hammered the tent. 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 2 poles snapped. Maybe it's obvious to some of you, but beach camping has no trees, no windbreaks, nothing to protect you. So as soon as the sun was up, we got packed up and out of there, hoping to get our lives back in order before the week ahead. But on the way out of town, perched on a power line was a loggerheaded shrike, lifer number 6, a perfect send-off. Now, I said I'd touch on the budget because I want you to know that this kind of trip is totally doable. We're a one-income family and it's not a big income, and so we're extremely intentional about every single dollar we spend. So here's what that looked like. Our campsite was $30 for 2 nights. Food was simple sandwiches, hot dogs, fruit and snacks. It's hard to get an accurate number here because most of the stuff is things we had on hand, but consider it $75. We're able to drive there and back on 1 tank of gas in the Prius, which was another $25 before, well, you know, right? For camping gear, most of our stuff was either things we owned or bought used, and depending on your needs, I think you can reasonably get by with a budget of $100 for a tent and air mattress. And birding itself, totally free. Meaningful moments don't require expensive, elaborate experiences. These days, $250 hardly gets you anywhere, much less food or travel. Camping is awesome, and once you own the gear, the cost is covered in your next trip. You can count on us repairing and reusing our broken tent later this month on a trip to Central Texas. And here's some more numbers for you. This trip brought my year list up to 70, which is about 35% of my goal of seeing 200 birds this year, which feels fitting and on pace for a channel called Slowbirding. For my life list, I'm now at 114 species at the time of recording, which is almost 20 more than my first YouTube video just a few months ago. So that's really cool. Looking forward to the future, you can expect me to keep with this rhythm of alternating my long-form videos between vlogs like this and other bird-adjacent concepts like tips and reviews. And you know, in the meantime, I'd love it if you checked in on the shorts every now and then. I'm really trying to pack the channel full of content that is either insightful, entertaining, or thought-provoking. And shorts are another place where I'm trying to fill in the gaps between videos like this. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.